Day 31. Beginnings. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I've always been someone who sees things through to the end, but I'm just so tired. I'm sick of it. I'm sorry. I want to keep going, but I don't see anything changing. The work, you... It all seems like a hill that I'm running up and it will never end. I'm tired. I can't anymore. And so, she got up and left. She left it all behind, left them all behind. There had to be a new beginning because she had reached an end. Beginnings lead to ends and ends to beginnings, she thought. And then she thought she might become a painter. Why the hell not? Isn't that something people going through a midlife crisis do? No, it was silly. Except the thought wouldn't leave her. She started having dreams about paint flying at bare canvases. She was locked in an old warehouse with high windows, light pouring over a huge white floor, while she rolled around on it, covered in oozing paint. She would wake up sweating and smiling. So she went to the stationer's and bought a canvas. Just an A4 one, she didn't want to go wild, and it came with its own little easel. She didn't have the first clue what she was looking for, so she picked 2 brushes, one wide and one narrow, and as for paint, she finally settled on acrylic because it seemed the ooziest. She brought it all home, made a cup of tea, turned a chair to face away from the window, and sat. She was so scared to start. Her hands lay in her lap for 20 minutes while her tea went cold. The white rectangles slowly burned onto her retinas. It felt like it would be there forever. The white canvas, the ever-blank canvas. The paint tubes were so taut and full, they were ready. The bristles on the brushes had a sheen. Even the light was good. Everything else was ready, but her. She picked up the canvas and started to squeeze it. Her teeth were gritted and her arms were shaking from the tension. She wanted to scream. It was taking everything not to smash the thing against her head, but instead she focused all that energy into one thumb and, quivering, pushed it through the very middle of the fabric with a satisfying pop. And with that, all the stress left her, in a millisecond. It was remarkable. She looked at the crooked hole she had made. She swung the canvas from side to side and enjoyed seeing what was on the other side. Things from her own home, of course, but different. She rested the canvas back on its balsa easel and started to know how to start. She daubed out a blob of black paint straight onto her bare knee as she realized she had nowhere else to put it. It was cold at first, but quickly caught her own warmth and the feeling disappeared. She scooped up a little with her smaller brush and dabbed dots around the hole. It reminded her of some sort of flower or eyelashes. Eyelashes. She raced for some orange and with the broader brush, the small one between her teeth, traced a pointed oval shape as symmetrically as she could manage, from top to bottom, encircling the hole and its dots. She added more colours to her leg and rubbed them between her fingers, first of one hand and then both, sliding the paint across her fingertips and over her knuckles. She started to wipe the excess on the canvas, drawn to empty spaces. But then she realised that white wasn't an empty space. The bobbled texture stood out where she hadn't put paint, and it looked wonderful, exciting. She decided it was time to begin again. Back to the stationer's, this time grabbing 2, 3, 4 of every size they had, the boy behind the till smiling at the paint up to her wrists, then home again, mixing colours, applying them with things from the kitchen, the bathroom, bits of wood from the garden. On she went for hours, days, weeks. She was frenzied. She barely remembered to eat, and when she did, she started pressing bits of bread and tomato into her work. Except it wasn't work. It was a foaming torrent that she couldn't keep in. Her home filled to bursting with canvases, tiles, furniture, anything that could be painted, and a few things that you wouldn't believe could be. After finding an old trumpet in a skip on the road, she had used it to suck up and blow diluted paint, before it too simply became a piece. As the flecks flew and her energy seemed to grow, she remembered her dream. She pulled everything out onto the street. People stared at the multicoloured tables, the daubed television, also with a hole in the middle, the lime trumpet. They stared at the woman, covered head to toe, pulling bucket after bucket of paint off a delivery van. One or two nosy ones even stared through the window at the completely white living room, except for the rainbow woman, who eventually covered the window panes with white paint too. It was a perfect new beginning, the blankest of blanks. She stripped herself down to nothing, held 10 random tubes over her face like a showerhead, and squeezed. Word soon spread about the, quote, artist in brackets suburban residency, about the alien that had descended without having been to one of the top schools, any training at all. She wasn't on social media, and despite the fortune some people had made from pieces they had hoiked away from outside her house, she didn't seem to make any money. She didn't seem interested. She wouldn't talk to anyone. She wouldn't leave her canvas. I heard that eventually her landlord got excited that the property was suddenly worth something as a piece of art. I heard that she gave up painting and decided to become a teacher or work at a call centre or something. Beginnings lead to ends, and ends to beginnings.